In this section, we'll look at some ideas of things you can try to help keep yourself and your family well. Spend time each day doing something for no other reason than your own leisure. Find activities that bring you pleasure, help you relax, unwind, and recharge. We sometimes refer to these as wellness tools. For example, spend half an hour reading a book, going for a walk, watching your favorite TV show, socializing with friends, or taking a hot bath. Keep a personal calendar or day planner. Write all of your appointments and tasks down in one place that you can access them easily. I use my cell phone calendar for this because I always have it on me. Schedule everything, even leisure time. The time that you spend scheduling your life right now might equal less stress and feelings of being overwhelmed later on. Keep a personal journal. Many people find it helpful to regularly organize their thoughts, express themselves, and process their emotions in a personal journal. You can keep track of life events, moods, feelings, fears, hopes, and dreams in your journal. You can also keep track of successes and signs of progress in addition to challenges that you may be facing. Journaling can also be a way to understand your needs, keep track of ways you're practicing self-care, and as a mode of self-care in and of itself. I had one client who we suggested doing some journaling exercises for, in which there were just some basic writing prompts, and then they would just write and do sort of stream of consciousness writing. And after doing this for just 5 minutes, this person reported that their level of stress had gone down and that they were feeling better. And this is just a simple 5-minute writing exercise. So, you can imagine if you're doing this every day, it could definitely have very positive effects for your overall mood and well-being. Keep a family calendar. In a shared place in your home, keep a calendar of appointments, family events, and anything outside of the regular routine. This is a simple tool you can use to keep everyone on the same page. You can also get a family whiteboard. This is another tool that you and your family can use to communicate. You can write encouraging messages to your loved ones, post reminders, share resources, or draw silly pictures. This tool is especially useful if verbal communication is difficult in your home or if tensions are high. Assuming everyone is willing to do so, scheduling some family time to spend with your family is a good way to connect, open lines of communication, and find out what's going on in the other family members' worlds. This scheduled time could look like anything. It could be a family meal, going to a movie, a walk in the park, a games night, etc. Keep in mind, however, that your loved one may not always be up to family time, even if you've scheduled the time and made it a priority. Spending time with family can be stressful and anxiety-provoking for some people, depending on a variety of factors. As such, it's a good idea to not make family time a requirement, but rather an option and an open invitation. Keep this time flexible. Make a plan for what you will do in crisis or emergency situations. Make sure to include all family members in the making of the plan. Alternatively, you could just make a plan for yourself or sit down with your loved one and help them make a plan for themselves. There's a good template for crisis planning through the WRAP program, which stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan, and you can find it on this link on the screen. Crisis plans can include all of the following: a description of the individual when they're feeling well, signs that indicate that the individual or family is no longer able to make responsible decisions for themselves, a list of supporters, such as family, friends, or health professionals who can help during a crisis, including specific responsibilities and tasks that they can undertake, acceptable and unacceptable forms of treatment during a crisis and why, what is helpful from supporters when feeling badly and what isn't helpful, what supporters should do if the person is a danger to themselves or others, things that the person wants done for them and who should do them, and how to settle disagreements between supporters. Ideally, a crisis plan should be made in times of non-crisis so that adequate time, thought, and consideration can be put into it. You can make a crisis plan for yourself so you know what to do in times that you're experiencing a crisis, which may be contributed to by stress of supporting a loved one with mental health issues. Alternatively, you can work with your family member to make a crisis plan and use in the event that they're experiencing a crisis. Involving your loved one in the process will show that you respect their right to make decisions for themselves and their own self-care and allow them to practice self-advocacy. Creating and using a crisis plan is one way that you and your family can exert some control in situations that may otherwise be potentially traumatic or seemingly hopeless. Make a list of what works and what doesn't. A simple and useful strategy for distinguishing issues in your family relationships is to create a 2-column chart with the headings works in one column and doesn't work in the other. With your family, fill out each side with points from each person's perspective. For example, you may write that yelling and screaming doesn't work, but communicating calmly does. Your loved one may write that pressuring them to do things doesn't work, but asking them if they want to do things does. Once you've done this list, you may want to keep it in a visible place that you can remind yourself and each other of what you've discovered. You may also want to do this exercise periodically as new challenges come up. Keep in mind that this exercise is not about putting down one another or assigning blame. It's about acknowledging what happens in your relationships and looking at how to make them better. You can also do this exercise on your own to reflect on how you are relating to your loved one. Some of the issues and conflicts that occur in your family may be beyond your ability to solve on your own. This is not a weakness. It can actually take a lot of strength to reach out and admit you need support. Getting input from other family members, friends, peers, and professionals can make a significant difference in your situation. Peer support groups, counseling for both individuals and for families, and recovery programs can make a big difference in the quality of your home life. You may receive valuable insights and strategies to help you deal with your loved one's mental illness. It can also be helpful to simply connect with others experiencing similar situations and to reduce feelings of isolation. Educate yourself. Access to information has never been more readily available than it is today. Books, the internet, professionals, and peers are just a few sources of knowledge that you can tap into. The more you learn, the more equipped you'll be to handle the challenges that come up. It's also important to be aware that not everything you read and hear is the absolute truth. There are numerous perspectives and models of mental health and recovery. Find sources of information and perspectives that are useful and empowering both for you and your family. Remember that all of the factors that affect your own health will have an effect on your ability to support your loved one and be there for your family. Making time for exercise, eating a balanced diet, and getting adequate sleep are just a few of the important factors that can contribute to your overall wellness. The better care you take of yourself, the more you'll be able to help those around you. It can be difficult to distinguish between when you are supporting your loved one and when you're doing things that may be detrimental to their recovery. For example, you may think that urging your family member to go to a support group is being supportive, when in fact they perceive your suggestion as pressuring them and adding stress to their life. How do you know when you're being helpful and when you're contributing to the problem? One exercise that can be extremely helpful in these matters is to set explicit, clear-cut boundaries. To set a boundary with your loved one means to establish a limit or a line that you're not willing to cross in your relationship with them. Setting boundaries is a way to help you be clear for yourself what you are willing to do and what you aren't with regard to supporting your family member with their mental health challenges. In establishing your boundaries, it's a good idea to take the wishes of your loved one into account. Keep in mind that what you think is supporting your family member and what they find supportive may not always coincide. Here are some suggestions that may aid you in establishing boundaries in your relationship. As mentioned before, make a list of what works and doesn't work in your relationship. This is a good way to identify some of the issues in the relationship, as well as some of the relationship's strong points. Do a reality check exercise with regard to how you support your loved one. Make a list of things that you do or don't do that you think are supporting your loved one in their recovery. Then, for each item, ask your loved one what they think and how they feel about it. See how they perceive the actions that you think are supportive. This may give you some insights into some areas that you may want to strengthen, as well as behaviors you may want to change going forward. For example, you may think that offering advice is being supportive, but your loved one might interpret that as you telling them what to do. Telling your loved one that everything is going to be okay may seem like a very reasonable and supportive thing to say. However, your loved one might be interpreting that as condescending and patronizing. Ask your loved one to make a list of things that they find supportive to them in their recovery, and then write your thoughts and feelings next to them. This may give you some insight into some of your strengths as well as areas of contention between you and your family member. For example, your loved one may say that you giving them money is supportive, and giving them space as well, but you may perceive giving them money as enabling bad habits and giving them space as abandoning them. Again, this can help to sort of clarify and clear up some of the disagreements and misinterpretations that happen in communication within families. After you've done the above two exercises, take some time to yourself to consider what you'd like your boundaries to be in the relationship. Make a list of what you are and are not willing to do in the relationship. In the next column, list the reasons why you are setting each boundary. This will help you remind yourself as to the purpose of the boundaries you're setting, in addition to helping you explain these boundaries to your loved one. You may say that you're willing to help pay rent for the next 6 months, and you're willing to do this to help give your loved one a chance to get on their feet. You may also be willing to drive them to and from appointments because you want to support them in their express treatment plan. You may say that you're not willing to tolerate any verbal abuse because it hurts you and you think it enables bad behavior. Likewise, you may choose not to give your loved one money for other things other than rent because you don't want to be enabling them to do things that you may not endorse, such as buying drugs, and you want to help foster independence. Once you're clear on the boundaries you've established for yourself, you can communicate them to your loved one. Your job, and perhaps your challenge then, is to stick to your word with regard to what you have declared your boundaries are. This is one area in particular where you will likely benefit from receiving some kind of support, whether it comes from other family members, friends, peer support groups, personal coaching, or mental health professionals. It's useful to make a list of supports for yourself that you can call or meet with either regularly or on an as-needed basis to help you troubleshoot current challenges. Over time, you may find that certain boundaries you set aren't working out as you had planned. It may be the case that the boundaries aren't being upheld and that you need some support in addressing that issue. It may also be the case that the boundaries you've set are either too rigid or too flexible, and you may need to adjust them. Since the nature of your situation, your relationship with your loved one, and where they are at in their recovery are likely to change over time, all of the above suggestions can be revisited whenever necessary. Thank you for tuning in to our presentation on dealing with mental health issues in the family. On behalf of the Mood Disorder Association of Ontario, I hope you found it very helpful. If you're looking for more support or have any more questions or are dealing with a particular situation that you'd like to talk to us about, you can give us a call at the numbers on the screen. Our email address and website is also there. If you are interested in more information as well, this presentation is an accompaniment to the Family Matters Guide for Families, which is a written document we've created to help inform and support families dealing with mental health issues. You can also check us out on our Facebook page, Twitter, and YouTube for updates and more information.